Hi, this is Courtney Camp with Michigan Pool News. We are talking with Steve Pearce from Chlorking, who's the Vice President. How you doing, Steve?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. All right, we'll start off with that first question. What makes low pressure different from medium pressure UV?
Essentially, it's the wavelengths that the system emits. Low pressure systems emit two very direct wavelengths. We make 185 nanometers and 254 nanometers, and we penetrate both of those wavelengths through the water. A medium pressure system really does everything from 200 to 400 nanometers, which for a swimming pool is an overkill. There's no need for all of that for what you find in swimming pools. So what we designed was years ago, we designed a special lamp just made specifically for swimming pools. And to do those two wavelengths gives us everything we need for a commercial swimming pool.
Awesome. What makes LP high output amalgam different from regular LP?
So LP meaning low pressure. There's different types of low pressure systems out there. What we decided to do was years ago we designed an amalgam lamp which gave us the ability to produce some ozone at the same time as producing UV. That's where that second wavelength comes in. By producing that ozone, it allows us to oxidize the water as well, which is basically the same as if you're injecting ozone into the water. We do it inside our quartz sleeve, and that then turns our system into a hydroxy generator, which oxidizes chloramines and any of the unwanted stuff. So essentially what we do is we've found a way to make a low pressure system far more efficient and burn hotter for a swimming pool environment by doing UV and ozone at the same time within the same vessel, which just makes it far superior for a swimming pool application.
What do the two wavelengths, the 185 and the 254, do?
So essentially the 254 nanometer wavelength is the sterilizing wavelength where it inactivates and sterilizes the pathogens in the water, doesn't allow them to procreate. The 185 allows us to generate ozone inside our sleeve, which then turns that into a hydroxyl radical into the water, which oxidizes. So we're getting the benefit of both worlds. We're sterilizing with the 254, and we're oxidizing with the 185, which is how our systems are able to control chloramines, where in the past regular low pressure systems had no ability to control chloramines. The additional 185, that oxidizing ability, gives our systems the ability to control. And nobody's ever going to control chloramines 100% in a facility. And anybody that says they're going to do it is lying. It's just a matter of how much you can do versus the bang for the buck. And we always say we'll get 80 to 90% of the chloramines out of the water, and that's what the amalgam allows us to achieve.
What are the hydroxyl radicals and why are they effective?
Hydroxyl radicals are basically a combination of oxygen and hydrogen, and they float in the water, and they will oxidize a parasite or a pathogen right at the point of contact. So when that hydroxyl radical comes off the sleeve and goes in, anything coming past that hydroxyl radical is oxidized right then and there. And oxidation really is, you can assume it as being burnt off. It burns them, as opposed to the 254 nanometer, which sterilizes. It actually oxidizes and burns them at the same time. That's really the benefit of the amalgam lamps that we make in our UV systems. Is with a medium pressure UV system, you just get the sterilizing effect. They can't go low enough to oxidize because their wavelength is only between 200 and 400 nanometers. They can't go low enough to 185 to make any ozone or to do any oxidizing. So on a medium pressure, all you get is the ability to sterilize, no oxidation potential, which is really why when we were looking at designing UV systems 10 years ago for the swimming pool industry, it made perfect sense for us to design one that was designed specifically for swimming pools and not something that was from the water treatment industry that really was brought into the swimming pools.
What are operating costs of Sentry UV systems?
So the beauty and the benefit of using amalgam lamps for a swimming pool is the operating costs are so low because they are so energy efficient and use so little power out of the wall. And just as an example, a typical medium pressure system needs three-phase 480 volt or 240 volt power. It draws and generates a huge amount of heat and needs a lot of power in order to power those lamps. Low pressure, high output amalgam systems, which we make, only draw 1.2 amps at 120 volts for every sleeve for every lamp we have in it. So if you took a let's say, a 150,000 gallon swimming pool, and you put on a Century UV low pressure amalgam system versus any of the medium pressure systems that are out there, your operating costs would be about 50% over the course of a 5-year period using our technology versus medium pressure, because our power draw is so little compared to a medium pressure, which really is a power hog. And it's part of what is not explained when buying a medium pressure system is the amount of power it draws, and what your electricity bill will do over a long period of time is dramatically different. So you can go, the average 150,000 gallon pool will cost you, if you work it all out, about $1,000 a month over a 5-year period to run the system with replacement sleeves, with energy, with all of that. Where a Century UV system, you're probably looking at about $450 to $500 a month. Same pool, same potential, just half the price because of the power draw and the cost of lamps. Completely different.
Yeah, that is very different. Last question is, what is the expected lamp life?
So we do 13,000 hours with our lamps, which it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week lamp. It runs nonstop. 13,000 hours basically gives you 1.5 years. It is a cost-effective lamp to replace. It's not very pricey. Our system with our patented quick disconnects, you can take a lamp out in 30 seconds and replace it. It's very quick and very easy, and just not costly, as opposed to the medium pressure systems. Generally, 5 to 8,000 hours is what you're getting out of a medium pressure lamp. We're double that.
Well, that's very important. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Steve.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.